down to Biscayne.
Yikes. 5 on the floor, ride for my dogs. Where here's the thing, you can check the score. Hustle hard, couple scars, wearing bubble frogs. Just like Butler said, you in trouble, y'all. Kept the flow playing, got it all banned. Y'all seen the block, stop with one hand. And Pat we trust, it's about having guts. We're here to bring the heat, y'all can hang it up.
Welcome to 5 on the Floor, a daily insider show on the Miami Heat and the NBA, featuring Ethan Skolnick, Greg Sylvander, and Alex Toledo, plus others from the 5 Reasons Sports Network.
Welcome to another episode of 5 on the Floor. I am your host, Greg Sylvander. Today's floor plan, no Ethan Skolnick. He's still on vacation, but we have enough. You have us on the screen, but if you're in this audio form, listening to us, we have Alex Toledo. Follow him at Tropical Blanket on Twitter. We have Brady Hawk. Follow him at Brady Hawk 305. And we have Mr. Gabe Himes, who you can follow at Eternal Bast, B-A-S-T on Twitter, excuse me. Again, I'm your host, Greg Sylvander. Today's floor plan, we're going to dive into this damn ringer list. And I'm automatically scolding this top 125 that the ringer put out, but it is something for us to talk about because there are Heat players listed. We're going to talk about where they're ranked, where we think they should be ranked, a whole bunch of other takeaways. But before we do any of that good stuff, I want to tell you about a great sponsor because you know what? We've been waiting for leaks out of the Heat front office, out of the Blazers front office, out of every agent camp on this Dame situation. We want leaks. We want leaks. We want leaks. Well, do you have a water leak and can't find where it's coming from? Are you dealing with water or mold damage in your home or business? You know who to call. Water Cleanup of Florida at 954-579-0356. With over 60 years of combined experience, Michael, Robert, and their team are prepared to handle all size and types of leak detection issues 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. After the leak is located and repaired, Water Cleanup of Florida will then clean, dry, and fully restore the damaged area. Fully licensed, insured, certified, one-stop shop for every busy homeowner. No need to bring in any other contractor. They'll handle the job start to finish. Service areas include Miami, Broward, and Palm Beach County. Call Michael anytime on his personal cell, 954-579-0356. Again, that's 954-579-0356, or visit the website, the one you see on your screen right now, WCUFL.com. That's again, WCUFL.com. Water Cleanup of Florida. If you have the schmutz, they have the guts. All right, fellas. The Ringer 125 drop. Everybody gets upset. I want to first say that this is just a list put out by other human beings. So, it ultimately is not the end-all, be-all. And these people are no smarter than any of us. So, please don't take offense to that, whoever did make this list. But there are some pretty weird things happening throughout this list. We want to keep this Heat-centric. But we're going to dive. I'm going to go straight to the top of the list. And I'm going to float through the top 10. Just to kind of set the tone of what this list is looking like at the top. And then we're going to kind of get into our major takeaways beyond that. So we've got, just to dive into this for those of the listeners who haven't read the list, and I don't blame you. The good thing about the Ringer is they do give you 3 formats with which to view it. So if you do want to just skim the list, you have the ability to, and those who want to deep dive can do that as well. Nikola Jokic, almost said Jovic, surprise. We have Steph Curry at number 2. That's a bit of a surprise to me, but I like it. Giannis at 3, KD at 4, Embiid at 5. Now here's where things start getting weird to me, and Embiid was part of that. Tatum is at 6, Luka 7, Kawhi at 8, Jimmy Butler at 9, and Devin Booker at 10. I'm going to stop there. Eternal, since you're not usually on the show, I'm heading to you first. The top 10 started with Jokic, ended with Booker, Jimmy Butler. I'm happy to see him 9th because I don't think he was 9th on this list last year. I'm trying to find where he was, but I can't find it at this exact moment. How are you feeling about his ranking of 9th on this 125 list, considering what we just watched in the 2023 NBA playoffs?
I think it's too low. I think that, people will point to Jimmy's performance during the regular season, which this was Jimmy's best statistical season. Shot really high as far as a field goal percentage. He just did everything that you would ask for from a superstar, especially post All-Star break. Jimmy was playing out of his mind, which flowed right into the playoffs. So I think it's too low, and I think especially what we saw from him in the playoffs, albeit, past the first game of the second round, it wasn't at the same level. But I mean, even still in the Knicks series, like he was doing some very spectacular things on the defensive end and still getting you home in the clutch. And I think that a lot of times when the player's name doesn't pop out to you or their game isn't flashy like that, they don't get the proper respect that they deserve. But Jimmy definitely has earned himself into the top 5.
Alex, the names I don't like in front of him right now is Kawhi Leonard, who I love as a basketball player, but what are we doing there when Jimmy is just doing what he's doing and Kawhi is not playing? Tatum, who Jimmy eliminated on his home floor. I think that there's a little bit of future looking ahead there and maybe some Celtics bias we're going to talk about later. But other than that, I can see the other names being here. Luka, I guess, is controversial. Where do you stand with Jimmy's 9th ranking? Do you think that they came in just right? Are you in agreement with Eternal? He should be a bit higher. Or I've seen this take too, that because of the deficiencies related to his availability in a regular season, maybe he should be a little lower. Where do you come in on Jimmy Butler being 9th?
I'm actually not totally against it in terms of, we always talk about, I think, trying to get to be a top 10 player. And I feel like him breaking into that range was kind of the big one, just because everybody seems to disrespect him, have him on the outside looking in. But now being in the top 10, I'm not totally mad at it. You mentioned some of the names, like the Tatum one. Now in terms of the playoffs, 3 of the last 4 playoff runs, they've played each other. And Jimmy's won 2 of them. And one of them, he had a chance to win with that final shot. But obviously, almost doesn't count. Like, let's be honest. So Tatum did get his one win there in that matchup. But still, if we're talking players, we always hear kind of in the playoffs, it's a different story. This isn't a playoff ranking. Like, we could sit here and talk about who would you rather in a game 7, who would you rather in a playoff series. I think a lot of people believe when it comes down to the playoffs, he's a top 5 player in basketball when games really matter in the playoffs. But as a whole, when you're taking in everything, I'm not mad at the fact that Jimmy Butler's ranked as the 9th best player in basketball.
Look at that non-biased, objective 5 on the floor you're getting right now. Hopefully Alex's mic is fixed. We're just going to dive right in here because they got LeBron at 12, Anthony Davis at 11, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 13. And here's the next kind of heat connection, and that's at 14, Dame Lillard. This is where I take issue because Dame Lillard is better than the 14th best player in basketball. I don't know what's happening here. If this is him maybe being scolded for the fact that maybe the Celtics aren't on his list or his list is just not expanded generally. Alex, where do you stand on Dame Lillard being 14 on this list? The other names I mentioned, Ant, LeBron, SGA, and I'm interested to hear your take on Jimmy if you want to slide it in, but kind of shifting gears to Dame at 14. What are your thoughts there? Eternal, you want to jump in? We're still working through the technical difficulties with Alex's mic, but that's all right. This is the universe is saying, Alex, you need to remain
new
quiet.
mic.
Oh, there's the mic there?
Yeah. No, I just had to yell and get mad and tap into the damn dark side of the force just to get something to work.
Look at this passion.
That's got a new mic, man.
What do you feel about Dame at 14?
That just threw me the hell off. Look, I don't really care about Dame at 14. I think it's fine. I think probably I'll take these guys. I'll take him over some of these guys in front of him. But, like Brady was saying, it's not a playoff ranking. And I think that's kind of the biggest emphasis here because if not, guys like Dame and especially Jimmy would be higher. And I just think some of the availability stuff that you referenced before, it shouldn't apply to Jimmy more than others. Like Kawhi is right ahead of him, and it's not just regular season availability that Kawhi lacks. It's the playoff availability. And that's why the Clippers haven't really been able to tap into their potential. So I think after what Jimmy has done in these past few years, it's hard not to put him a little higher. But if you say, oh, he's the 9th best player in the league, it sounds about right. But then I'm like, okay, I would probably take him over Tatum. I'll probably take him over Embiid. I get why people say Luka's better than him. But at that point, it's just kind of nitpicking. So like, I feel better I feel confident that he is right now better than Tatum and Embiid, just because I'm factoring in the playoffs as well into that equation, along with the regular season impact. But it's really just nitpicking. I think he's right about in that range.
I kind of agree. The fact that the Heat have guys, a guy and maybe two guys in the top 14 of this list, folks, like if you're mad at the front office and they're funneling two of the top 14 guys, and we're going to talk about the next really big issue I have with this damn list next. You got almost three guys in the top 20 and should be in the top 20. And I'm teeing up Brady Hawk for this. This is disgusting. Shout out to Simon Smith for helping make my case, because I'm going to do it. Here is the next bit of these rankings. Bear with me. We had Dame. Then we've got Spida, Jamal Murray, De'Aaron Fox, Ja Morant, James Harden at 19. What are we doing? This is where it's stupid. Domas Sabonis at 20. Bam Adebayo at 21. Courtesy of Simon Smith on Twitter, playoff wins in their career. Sabonis has 6. Adebayo has 38. That's just one of the very many metrics. I'm not standing for Bam as low as 21. I think that's BS. And to have players like Sabonis and James Harden in front of him is ridiculous. I don't have the adjectives, so I'm going to go to the more articulate of the bunch. Brady Hawk, why is Bam Adebayo too low on this list?
Why is he? I have no idea, because Bam is a top 20 basketball player in the league right now. I don't think that should be up for debate. The Sabonis one definitely is wild, just because for one, he always has somebody that's being compared to him that they just like rival and go back and forth with on social media or something. Like it was Siakam, and then now it's Sabonis. It seems to be their offense is not that different that surpasses the fact that the defense is actually that wide of a difference. Like we're talking about potentially, and I'll even say arguably, the best defender in basketball, even though I think he is the best defender in basketball. And we're nitpicking hairs on offense. Like, what are we doing? Like that, it doesn't feel like that should be back to back. And Bam should definitely not be the one behind. Harden's another one. I think to your point is somebody that I think at this point, what we've seen from Bam, and you can't have this take we've heard in the past where Harden is known to be, as if Ethan was on here, he'd be going on and on about Harden being at 19 because of the playoff stuff. Bam's also proven that what he did in this past playoff run, we could talk about what Jimmy did in new levels, but Bam showed up. Bam showed up and showed that he is somebody that could play in the playoffs at a really high level. And when you even pull all the numbers in over the playoffs, I was looking at this earlier, like some of the numbers from him in the playoffs over the last few years, I don't know where this narrative came from that was like he didn't show up. Like, I don't know where that came from. But either way, showing up in the finals, showing up throughout those series and winning them big games and having these big moments, there's no doubt that he's a top 20 player. We could probably go player by player with that, all the names you listed, 15 through 20. But I think the overall point is that if the Heat trade for Dame, they'll have three top 20 players, and Bam probably is closer to 15 than 20.
I agree. And I think also to the point of this list, as we try to remain objective, if this was a playoff only list, I think you'd see people, all these guys ranked a bit higher, but we're still taking issues because we got to be angry about something in the middle of the summer. So let me tell you about another one of our great sponsors, and it's our daily betting sponsor here at the 5 Reasons Sports Network and 5 on the Floor, and that is Better Edge. It is a different kind of platform than any other as it relates to betting. It's the stock exchange for sports betting, they call it. A social betting marketplace where users buy and sell betting positions without a vig, instead of a traditional sports book where the book sets the price and accepts your bet, takes fees, pays out winnings. Better Edge will connect users on opposite sides of the bets. So you put a bet out in the atmosphere, somebody else who wants to take the opposite side of that, Better Edge connects you to. You get hooked up, you save money off of the vig. You need to use the code 5RSN to get $20 to play right away. This is a web-based app. Go to app.betteredge.com. Use the code 5RSN for $20 to play immediately. There's a lot of great contests. A lot of stuff will be coming up as we get ready for the NFL season. So make sure to sign up now. Better Edge, app.betteredge.com. All right, so I'm not going to go one by one on this list, but I do just want to skip all the way down to the next Heat player shown, and that's Tyler Herro at 74. And this is ridiculous. The names in front of him are ridiculous. I don't know if it's because he's been hurt in the playoffs, so he's getting knocked, or if this is just overall Celtic NBA bias. Maybe it's why you see everyone crying about the Portland offer because they don't like Tyler, because Kevin Herter is ahead of him. There's a few other Celtics, I believe, that are ranked ahead of him. Brady, four Celtics.
Yeah, all of them.
But all of them. Can somebody name these Celtics that are ahead of Tyler Herro quickly?
Yeah, so at 67 is Al Horford, 68 Derek White, then 69 is Giddey, 70 is Robert Williams, and 71 is Marcus Smart. So in a five,
don't forget Porzingis at 60.
You're right. So it is. It's the entire. But to go 5 in a row and 4 of them be Celtics is just absolutely insane. Like the fact that they're clumped together, like their skill sets are that close. Like I don't know what we're doing at that point. But the Kevin Huerter thing, Tyler Herro is the one by far. I didn't even get to look at this list until right when we started the show. But the fact that Tyler Herro is at 74 is by far like the craziest one to me. Like we're picking hairs with Bam in the 21 range or Jimmy at the 9 range. When Tyler Herro's at 74 and you're looking at some of the names that is in front of him, like this is the one where it's like getting it's getting very disrespectful. Tyler Herro always gets disrespected in the offseason, it feels like, but this one is capitalizes on that.
Eternal thoughts on Tyler Herro at 74. And also, let's not forget, y'all, that another Miami Heat player did crack this list, and that's Kyle Lowry at 119. So for all of you who says he has negative trade value, take that. He's on the top 125 list. But nah, Eternal, how you feeling about Tyler's ranking? Any other rankings for the rest of the 125 I'm interested to pick your brain on? Then we're going to go around about who we all think may be on this list next year, who's not on this list now. So y'all fellas need to already start getting, and I'm just throwing this at everybody. But Eternal, thoughts on the end of this list, particularly Lowry, particularly Tyler, or anything else that jumped off the page at you?
I think first I want to address, Steph is number 2, right? And on their list, they say that Steph is a dynamic offensive player. Is Bam Adebayo not a dynamic defensive player? Can guard 1 through 5? So like I'm confused about like what the criteria is for this list, because in some parts of the list they bring up playoff performance and availability, and then some parts of this list that doesn't factor in. And so it kind of confuses me. I feel like Bam should be a top 15 player, like legit. That shouldn't even be something that's debatable, especially from what we have seen over the last couple of seasons. Same thing with Jimmy when I made that case for him being top 5. He's outplayed Tatum in the playoffs. Both Jimmy and Bam have. Bam is responsible for so much on the floor, both offensively and defensively, that it doesn't make sense to me. I don't think Michael Porter Jr. is a better player than Tyler Herro.
Agreed.
So why is he ranked higher than Tyler? And
I mean, there's so many names in that range there that I kind of it felt like they were thrown in there. Like you see Nick Claxton at 59, so 15 spots ahead of Tyler. And then you look at Tyrese Maxey, right? Is another guy who has gotten the comparisons with Tyler. He is at 55, so 19 spots ahead of Tyler. I mean, Cade Cunningham is somewhere in this range too. I was just looking for him.
Robert Williams. We're talking about availability. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, you can clearly see the Celtics bias. Kyle Lowry, I think that the fact that he made the end of this list, I guess that's a good thing, but I feel like that's maybe more off name recognition, and also these guys just kind of picking and choosing. Maybe they're taking Kyle because they think Kyle won't be on the Heat soon enough, so that makes them start to edge him up the rankings, because we always think that the Ringer is biased against the Heat, don't we all? All right,
Clay at 57.
Bro, this list is all over the place. It's all over the place.
Exactly.
What are the worst ones? Clay at 57 has to definitely be up there. I think Quickly and Devin Vassell at 99 and 100 are too low, but that will work itself out due to injuries or maybe more playing time.
Tyler's better than DeAndre Ayton.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. No, that's not even something like crazy. Josh
He's better than
Giddey.
Miles Turner.
Josh
I don't know.
Giddey is too low, in my opinion.
He's better than Norm Powell.
Yeah.
Tyler at 74 and Mike Conley at 76.
It's like they're projecting because Derek White's going to be the starting point guard. They're already making him an all-star point guard or something like that. All right.
Ooh, CJ McCollum at 80. Like, this is just a weird list, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you would think CJ would be higher than some of the guys that we were just talking about right now who were in the 50s and 60s.
The whole Boston roster?
Malcolm Brogdon is 87. What are we doing there? Like, they can't even move the guy. Like, he
can't even move.
Because he can't even move. Exactly. Well played. So this list is all over the place, but the main thing we wanted to highlight is that we did get 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 guys on this list that are Miami Heat players. If there's one guy that because I'm just going to dive right in here, think will be on this list next year that's not on this list now, the low-hanging fruit that everyone probably came with Caleb Martin, right? Is that what everyone came with? Because that's what I came with. So I'm going to try to be better than that. And I am going to go with Benedict Mathurin from the Indiana Pacers will be on this list coming next year. So I didn't take the easy one, but I knew what y'all were coming with. Alex, how you feel?
That's the thing. I had Caleb as my name, but then I thought about it. I'm like, wait, I think everybody's going to have Caleb as the name just because I think he's better than Kyle right now. So that's why he immediately came into my mind. I'm like, I would have Caleb at the end of that list over Kyle right now. So he's definitely the easy answer. But I guess you got to think about dudes who are kind of younger and on the way up, like you said, a Benedict Mathurin. Man, you see, I'm not ready. Let's see. Did they put the Jazz center here? Walker.
he did just make the list. Walker Kessler, yes.
Okay, he's already here. I'm just trying to think of guys who are super young, but
yeah, I know. Yeah. I put you on the spot. Brady, is there anybody that you've immediately identified that maybe you'll see on this list at a later time? Because you know who's not here? Max Strus or Gabe Vincent. Any of y'all buying Max Strus or Gabe Vincent in the top 125? How are they not on the top 25 and Kyle Lowry is? What a weird list.
Exactly. I would take all 3 of those guys right now over Kyle. And you guys know I'm pretty appreciative of what Kyle does, but it's a weird list.
My bold prediction is if Duncan Robinson stays next season, he is in the 125 by the end of next season.
I love that. That is a good one. Eternal, what you got?
I'm not going to go with the pick that everybody thinks I'm going to go with. I'm not going to give you guys.
What would that be? No, but so there are all of our 5 on the floor listeners that may not be on Twitter because we do have a lot of those. Tell them who we think you're going to go with.
Brady, who would I pick? Who do you think I would pick?
That's a tough one. I don't know. I think Nikola Jovic. I think you might be a big fan of.
Mo Bamba.
No. We've gone too far. We've strayed too far from the light. It would be Jovic, but I actually, somebody of the same player tree that I am actually super surprised is not on this list because they deserve to be. Is Franz Wagner. I think Franz deserves to be on.
He's not here.
No, he's not.
No way, he's not here.
No, I think he did make the list.
I'm in the 30s now. I don't see Franz.
Hold on, I got
84.
He's 84?
84.
Yeah. Damn, okay. All right, well, I take Franz off my list.
Like Ivica Zubac is a top 100 player?
Yeah, that's bizarre. And Bruce Brown being 96 after what he just did is also a little weird. Russ 97 feels like a charity spot for him. Josh Hart at 102. Walker Kessler's at 103, by the way, that you mentioned earlier. It's interesting. Christian Wood isn't even signed by anyone, and he's 110 on this list.
Okay, since Franz is on the list, I got another pick. I know this is cheat. I know it's cheating. Don't beat me up. Scoot. I think Scoot.
Oh, I got Victor.
Scoot.
Oh no, Victor. Oh no, he's not on the list.
Scoot by end of next season will be a top 50 player.
All right. So that's Eternal's even. So just to get this on record as we close, Eternal is on record. Scoot will be top 50 on this list next year. Brady says Duncan Robinson will be part of 125 if he stays in Miami. I'm calling for Benedict Mathurin because Alex took Caleb Martin, even though he couldn't think of one initially. Thank you to Better Edge. Use the code 5RSN for $20 to play immediately and get some cash to play with, and also to Water Cleanup of Florida. If you got the schmutz, they got the guts. Thank you for joining us. Ethan will be back soon, and we'll be running through a whole bunch of other topics. Thank you for joining us. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Five on the Floor on the Five Regional Sports Network.